You're like, I'm
Well,
not even prepared. So, hey, what's up? No,
this is me. How are you?
listen, I'm well. I'm so glad we're doing this. I thought about it this morning. I've been on my getting up early in the morning stuff, and I've
Yeah,
been like, I'm ready to. I don't know. I've been getting up really early, and you know what's really interesting? The past 3 days, I've gotten up at the exact same minute without an alarm.
that's crazy.
Isn't it crazy? It's 4:12. I get up
Whoa.
at 4:12, and it's like and every day it's at the same it's for the last 3 days it's been the same time.
It's wild to me that you get up that early. Like, and do you feel good at that time?
Incredible. It's actually, to be honest with you, it's been my dream. Martin Luther King. No, for real though, it
Martin
really has.
Luther
It's
King.
been my dream for years to be an early morning person. Like I've always wanted to,
Yeah.
because there's that special. People talk about that special quiet time
Yeah.
that you get, and it's like it's so quiet, and it's so special. And yeah, I don't know how to describe it. This morning, I'm not going to lie to you, I was a little bit groggy. I was a little bit groggy, and I
Mm.
was like, okay, what am I going to do? So I decided to do a project that completely required all of my attention,
Yeah.
not something like, if you wake up in the morning and then the first thing
Fiddle.
you're doing, yeah, you're like
Not
checking
like fiddle here.
email. You're like, I'm going back to bed. Like,
I
right?
got it all in.
Yeah. So I was like, let me edit. I was editing a video. I have something for It Takes a Village coming out. So I was like, okay, let me edit
Oh,
that. And then I was like, now I'm up.
that's amazing. No, I've heard it from so many spiritual people. They say, and like meditation teachers, they say that hour between 4 and 5 o'clock, that it's like super important, specifically to like opening up consciousness. I've heard it in so many different forums, so many different like teachers and talk about it. So shout out to you, because we're on different time zones. I'm in Europe. I'm on Central European time. You're on
Yes.
Pacific time, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And
It's
I'm like,
crazy.
what? Like sometimes I'm like, damn, how is she up this early?
I feel like the separation of time is like essentially we only have like 4 hours of the day where we can't reach each other.
Basically.
Basically.
Yeah. It's so interesting. I actually thought that it would be harder because you used to be on Eastern time. And actually, I'm
Same.
like, no, this like works because
It's easier.
I get your messages in the morning, and then it's like, it's just like rolls throughout the day.
I know, I know. Like we love um voice notes.
Yeah, I'm a voice note girl.
I'm a
You're a
voice note
voice note girl.
girl.
Yeah.
Did you know you loved voice? Okay, you remember the day that you told me, actually, you remember the day that you told me, you were like, you don't have to hold it. You could just press it and flip it up. And then that day, that day, my life expanded, and I started sending you like 10-minute, 12-minute, 15-minute. Before that, it was like 3 minutes, 4 minutes. I was holding the thing at the whole time. And then you finally
That's
told
how
me, and
we started doing podcasts, right?
literally.
Literally, you know what? There's something like that. One of my friends, Sally, she showed me this a couple of years ago. We were in London, we were traveling somewhere. She showed me how you use the Zoom function, like on when you do like Insta
Oh,
videos. And I like never knew how to do that. And until this day, every time I do that, I'm like, girl, I had no idea. Thank you. I'm like, oh, you can do that. And then you can zoom out.
no, I know. I remember that too. It's like, and then it's like addictive. Then
It,
all your videos have you zooming in and out.
you
Like,
know,
yeah,
have
yeah,
feeling
yeah.
like a director. You're just like being super, yeah, artistic with it. But yeah, no, we're voice note girlies. I have to say though, this is kind of a spicy take,
Okay.
only with very few people. Like literally
You're like, I don't need
very
to hear all.
few, less than a handful. Like, no.
A word. No, I agree. I agree. I agree. I
Yeah.
agree. Because sometimes, you know what it is? It's like the fact I can listen to you without my guard up, like without
Yeah.
being like, what am I about to ingest? You
Yeah.
know, like I know when you say something, I know I'm gonna be, yep, yep. I'm gonna be like,
Yeah.
all right. And even if we do disagree, because we do disagree sometimes, but like even if we do disagree, I feel like it's so gentle.
Mm.
It's like, well, and then a lot of times, like a week later, I come back, I'm like, all right, yeah, actually. I'm like,
Well, me too.
You know
But
what? Yeah,
But I
exactly.
have to give you a shout out. I was thinking about this morning. Maybe I shared it with you in a voice note, but you can literally kind of meet me in any topic. Like I never feel like I can't tell Delina this or I can't talk to Delina about this. It could be anything from like, you know, entrepreneur strategies to like relationship stuff to I'm trying this new diet to politics, literature, like anything. Obviously, spiritual topics, we talk about that a lot, but like literally anything. And I think that is what makes it so safe. And sometimes we're talking to each other in the voice note. Sometimes we're talking to ourselves and we're just like, hey, if you want to listen, here's an invitation.
No,
Sometimes
literally,
I'm
it's
just
like,
like, I just need to put this in the universe and I need a witness.
I need a witness. Yeah, I agree with
Yeah.
you. I'm the same. I feel the same way. Like the other day, we were talking about um like Instagram and strategy, and then like I think right before that, we were talking about like dating. And
Yeah.
it was like the voice note right before you're like, but I just got to say this, and then it was like, and then we just like go into like our thing where we have to say what we're gonna say, and then the other thing I really like also is that if we're busy we're not like, hey, obviously, I mean, we're good friends. So it's not like
Yeah.
this kind of goes into that low maintenance friendship thing that we were talking about, where it's like,
Mhm.
I was like, I feel like people are doing it wrong. I was like, because when we need our time and space, we just say, like, I knew I couldn't talk to you on the phone until after I came back from holiday. And then you were
Yeah.
like, okay. And then it ended up being like I was on holiday and I was voice noting you like every day. You know what I mean? I was like, I need time to just rest. And then I'm
But
like, wait,
I feel like
actually.
with your because I really see you as like my growth buddy. You're like my friend, we're cousins, like all of this stuff, right? But with your like growth buddies where you're aligned as well, I
Mhm.
feel like you just kind of come in and out of a shared space. So actually you went away and I was just like, let's talk when you're back. Cause personally me, I don't like to be on the phone when I'm on vacation. I just don't want to feel like I need to keep appointments or schedules or anything like that. So I was like, yeah, she'll voice note me if she has time, but hey, like I'm taking it easy over here. But the interesting things was that you were open to voice notes and I actually all of a sudden had all this time so I could talk to you over voice notes. So we were like talking to each other pretty much like every day for a period of weeks,
I
right?
know.
A couple of weeks, but we were both like the space opened up for both of us at the same time. And actually we were having some really amazing conversations. So I just like really trust the pacing of yeah,
Mm,
how those opportunities just come along. So I never really feel the need to plan or if we can't talk to each other for a certain period, I'm just like, hey, the time will come when we will like converge again.
I know. It's so great. And to think about it, it was like the complete opposite of like the first, well, I guess I should say the last part of the year where from like September to December, you and I were so busy that I don't even think we sent many voice notes at all throughout that
Yeah, it
time
was
period.
crazy. That
You
period
know?
was crazy. I'm still resting from that period, honestly. It was
Yeah.
nuts. Yeah.
How do you feel?
I mean, it was great. It was I think it's always like that when you're in expansion. I'm sure because you're just like, so you've done this entrepreneurship thing for so much longer than I have. So I'm sure you've had several periods like that. But it's just when you're in expansion and it's just like back to back, you've got to stay so focused to like not drop the ball. But then you know that you're in expansion. So you're like, okay, I'm being stretched. I asked for this, but you got to stay so focused, and the space, the mental real estate, the space is so um little because you're pushing so much out into the world. So I was just like waking up, okay, where do I need to be today? Who am I serving today? Who am I speaking to? It was literally like that. So I feel
Yeah.
great. It was amazing. I feel like I've reached like kind of a new level, really, in my work, in my sense of self. But I needed these last 3 weeks of just being in my own presence. Like I needed to like come back to myself as well.
Yeah.
So yeah,
No, it's so good. I mean, I saw you, and when you say expanding, I think what I was seeing, I was just like, wow, like Ruta is like in her zone. Like you were like doing speaking gigs like almost like multiple times a week. Like you were everywhere. You were doing
yes,
so much. But I remember us being in Senegal on a trip like a few years ago, and this is what you were imagining. This is what you wanted
yeah,
to do, and then to see it come to fruition within like 2 years
yeah.
is amazing. I mean, I mean, I'm so
Yeah.
proud of you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and also I just want to say I don't know if I really understood rest until I spent time with you. Do
Hmm.
you remember when we were in Senegal and I was like, "Oh my god, I'm so stressed out. Like I need to go back to work." And you were like, "Girl." You're like, "What?" You're like, "What are you talking about? Relax." You're like, "You're on vacation. You have time." Like and it was like I saw you taught me how to like luxuriate and really
Yeah,
like be present and have these like moments of I'm here. Like I'm in this
girl.
dope place and I'm chilling and I'm going to be here. And
Yeah.
you're very like just watching you do that has helped me learn how to do it because I was not doing that. I wasn't doing it at that level. That was the longest trip I had taken. It was like 3 weeks
Yeah.
and that was only a few years ago.
Well, to be fair to you, I think that you really had the desire. That's why you took the trip. And that's why, you were somewhere else before. Then we were in Senegal for about 2 weeks together. So you like really switched up the pattern by taking a much longer break than usual. But it takes getting used to. I live in Europe, you live in America. It's
Mm.
a different like culture and mindset around these things. In Europe, we like to take long, especially in
Y'all
Sweden, like
do.
long ass breaks over the summer, over the winter. There's like 4 weeks where people are not responding to emails. So there's all these like stuff around it as well, the context. But I think you've really like taken that and made it your own now, where you've really embraced like resting. I think for me personally, my Taurus rising helps me so much. Taurus loves to luxuriate. We like to take it slow. We like to enjoy. We live for like the experiences, right? So when I've worked, it's not hard for me to surrender into rest. So I knew I was going to be off. So where are we now? Like in the first week of 2025, I knew
Yeah.
that I was going to be off over like from Christmas and a couple of weeks into the new year. Girl, I got a subscription for the spa. Like it's so easy for me to melt into rest, to surrender into it. Because I do think that's like part of my, like I said, my astrological like wiring. I've looked into like my Venus in Cancer too. There's a lot about presence and enjoyment, but it's also because I know that it powers me up for what's to come. And then also, genuinely, I love to rest. Like, why did it take us so long to learn how to rest? Girl.
I don't know. I don't know. And you brought up a good point about like being Americans. We're just I mean, when I go on vacation, first of all, we all should aspire to be Australians because they're always on vacation. No
Always.
matter where you
You find
go,
Australians everywhere.
no matter where you go in the world, you like
I'm from
you'll be
Sydney.
yeah, hi, I'm
With a
from
bad
yeah,
accent, but
exactly.
still, they're like,
Yeah.
I'm from Brisbane. I'm like, damn, y'all are everywhere.
Everywhere. Like they know how to rest. Like they break.
Oh my god, wait, I have to tell you this. When I lived in London, there used to be this like pub, this like chain, like yeah, franchise, whatever you call it. It's called like Walkabout because it's an Australian like pub.
Oh.
Literally, they're like everywhere. I love
No,
it.
that is like that's a perfect description for an Australian because it's like they're everywhere. I mean, Europe, you guys do a good job too. I mean,
Yeah,
specifically outside of England. I think England is probably like starting to kind of get a bit more to the America
yeah.
side. But Sweden, how many weeks do y'all get off?
I mean, like now in winter, for instance, from mid-December until mid-January, you can't really get business done because
Mm,
like people will kind of be dropping off from mid December and then be dropping in successively until mid January. So you can't get a full like, the room of the people who make the decisions together at the same time
because this
until
one's
like
off.
before or yeah. And in the summer, there's like an 8 week period of that too, where people start dropping off after midsummer and dropping in until the end of August. So you'll have people scattering and working in different stages. But in terms of getting business to move,
Hmm.
and I love that because now I've learned since I'm back here and I'm just like, let me just rest. Yeah. So
I
we
mean,
get
it's
like
so
5 to 6 weeks, but there is this wider period around summer and Christmas where they're just like people take breaks, which means that you could be working, but most people are like chilling, to be honest.
so
Yeah.
good. Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine.
Are you moving here? I don't know about the snow though. I'm not sure about your relationship with
Dude,
snow.
no, literally, I'm like, I can't be cold ever again. Like, I'm
Uh,
literally, like, we're in January, right? I'm looking at the temperature. Let me just look it up today. I looked it up today and I almost sent it to you, but then I was like, I'm not sending it to her. She's in Sweden. She's gonna be like, girl, it's the same here. I'm like, what are you talking about? No, it's snowing in New York right now. Okay. And the temperature is ranging from between the lowest is 19, the highest is like 38 over the next 14 days.
And let me tell you, I think like New York winters are actually worse than Stockholm winters now. Like New York,
No.
yeah, no, New York winters are like cold. Like when I look at on the news and just like when I gauge the snow levels, like, and unfortunately because of global warming, it's cold here, but it's not as cold as it used to be. We basically just got our
Yeah.
first snow now, like the first 2 days into the new year. But New York winter is like next level. Crazy.
Yeah, no, it is crazy. I always thought it was for some reason I always thought you got more snow, but you know what? That doesn't mean that it's colder. That
No.
means that it's actually you're right because it can get too cold where it can't even snow. And
Yeah, New
that's what
York
would
is
happen in New
windy.
York. Oh my
No,
god.
no. Thank God
No.
you're not there
No,
anymore.
I'm
No, I'm
not.
joking.
No,
I
I'm
love New
not.
York.
I'm
Though.
not.
I love New
Yeah,
York. I'm a New
I'm
York girl.
not.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, listen. There have been moments I haven't even shared that with you. There have been moments this year where I've been like, wow, I really left New York. Like I
Yeah.
had like because I've been so happy about moving that I wasn't, you know what I mean? Like people are like 6 months in, they're like, are you still okay? Like, do you still like it? And I'm like, yeah, yeah, no, no, I like it.
You can
But
change your
then,
mind.
yeah, yeah. Did you change your mind? Are you on the way back? But this city's a slow burn. It's not like and I need that. I need because
Yeah.
I feel like I'm more of a slow burn. Like even if I think
Yeah.
about everything in my life, even my career's been a slow burn. Like everything's been a slow burn. So I'm
Mm.
like, I feel like I'm in the right place energetically.
Yeah.
Um,
I just see visuals
yeah.
of New York being because I love. I guess for anyone that's listening or this or watching this, Delina, you're now in LA, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just to clarify, but for New York is so concentrated. It's all like
Yeah.
this tension going up, small space. LA is so like spread out, right? There's
Mm.
space. It's spread out, and I feel like for where you are right now, as like your friend and your growth buddy, like the spaciousness seems to like really serve you just in terms of where you're going, where your consciousness is evolving, your desires, your thoughts, who you're becoming as a person. I feel like just having that space is serving you, but that's just what I'm seeing from the outside in.
Yeah. I mean, I think I mean you're like my clairvoyant friend. Yeah, I don't feel like you talk about it as much, but you really are. And like you'll be like, this is what I'm feeling from this person. This is what I'm feeling from this energy. And it's always right. And I was like, I called you the other day. I
You were just
called you
like,
the
what are
other
you
day.
feeling?
Yeah, I was like, what are you feeling about this guy? And then you were like,
Hmm.
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 You're like, I'm gonna sit with that. Like you're like, yeah, and you're like, and then you came up with some stuff, and then the next day you sent me a voice note and you're like, yeah. You're like, no, I'm feeling what you're feeling. No, you're right. You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
And it's like it's so spot on. Like it's so on point, and I'm always so impressed with your ability to be able to like you can feel how people are feeling about
Yeah.
things. Even when I feel I need space. Do you remember when that started for you?
No, not consciously, but I've become aware of it since like post my burnout and when I started to understand like why do I feel so much? I know I was watching your video actually before we started recording your video on being highly when you understood that you're like highly sensitive, right? So I think I understood that after my burnout and then I was like, "Oh, what am I feeling? Are these my feelings? Are these other people's feelings? Are these like feelings that are in the collective, you know?" And the more I started like learning and studying and going to different practitioners, I've really understood like the difference between what I'm feeling and other people's feelings. And then I've understood that um, that's just something that I get. I get a read of how other people are feeling. You know, it's
Mm-hmm.
just this. Some people there's so many different categorizations of like how people are able to use energy and how people have gifts around energy. I think just mine is quite simply it's like empathy, like 2.0. I can really like truly tap into the heart space, but I've got to be careful because sometimes like I overdo it as well, where it's like I can project as well, which is when I'm not in my business and trying to overfeel what other people are feeling. But in general, I think I have a pretty good read on like what people's like root emotions are, or the emotions that they are displaying, but that they may not be aware of themselves. I thought
Mm-hmm.
about this actually because in my work as a coach, I was like, what is it that really helps me outside of all the tools and the stuff that I have? Is because I think I can sit with people in calmness. And through doing that, I kind of get intuitive hits of what they are actually feeling and where they actually are, which is often not what it, the first description is that's coming out of their mouth, right? Because it's like a lot deeper and it's not felt yet, and it's possibly subconscious, or it needs more safety, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just by I can gently name it in a safe way, and then we start to have a real conversation. So yeah, I've become aware of it in the last 10 years. Before that, I didn't know. I just knew that I like cared about people a lot, and I still do. That's how it would like manifest, just in like
You know,
caring and trying to, I'd feel
yeah,
things and I would like, do you want a cup of tea? I would try to address it
yeah.
in like through like what's the
Acts
acts
of
of
service.
service, which is my predominant love language. Yeah.
No, that actually makes so much sense because I remember when we were young, because we didn't meet like when we were very, very young. For anybody listening, we're cousins. I don't know if we talked about. Did we say that we're cousins? We
I
said we're
don't know, but
friends.
now they know.
Now they
Like
know.
okay, real cousins, not
Yeah, real
African
cousins.
cousins,
Yeah,
not
not.
just like, not just like black
There
cousins,
goes my
like
cousins. Yeah, there
that
goes my
real.
cousin.
No, no, that's my real cousin. I need y'all to know.
No, for real. Um, but we met. I remember when we met, like around like I don't know. I feel like it was around maybe 14, 15, 16,
Mhm.
something like that.
Yeah,
In the teens anyway.
in
And
London. Yeah.
yeah, and I remember being like, wow, this girl is like so thoughtful. I need to be more
Mhm.
thoughtful like her.
Mm.
Because you would just show up, you would do stuff, you'd be like, Auntie Lula, you'd be like, let me come and let me bring you some things and let me, and then you'd be helping in the kitchen. I'm like, I don't know anybody who's doing that at our age. Like we're just like sitting down and you're not even
Yeah.
asking us to do it, you're just doing it on your own.
Yeah.
Or you would take Hannah, like you would take her out, our cousin's daughter, who's
Oh,
also her
there, she was
cousin.
so small then.
She was so
Yeah.
small. Yeah, you'd spend time with her, and you've always valued family, and I've always really admired that about you. In fact, actually, Herman even said, he was like, "Yeah, I feel like," I was like, "Yeah, Rita and I are very close," and he's like, "Yeah." Herman's our other cousin. Listen, we've got a lot. We've got a big family.
So many
So
real
many
cousins.
real cousins. Yeah, all real cousins. And he was like, "Yeah, I feel like you guys learn so much from each other." And it's
Yeah.
true. I do think that you've balanced me as a friend. You've helped me have more empathy because I think I don't believe that it was not there, but I believe that I suppressed it to a
Yeah.
very high level, whereas I think you leaned into it even more. And I think somehow we found some way, like a bit more in the middle. I think for both of us, like you with more like boundaries and me being like more giving, I think.
Absolutely. And the
Right?
the crazy thing is like I never had an like that just happened by us converging and like finding a space where we're just like, oh, we're really in the same, speaking of like growth buddies, right? We were like really like in the same level of like consciousness. Like we were same, like asking ourselves the same questions. We were very similar phases of life. So when we would just like, and then I would just be me and you would be you, and that exchange would serve because that would serve us, right?
Hmm.
Both of us. And like your, where you've been in your journey and everything that you've shared with me and that I've learned from you, that's truly benefited me. I remember when I came to New York on a business trip from London and I met up with you, went to a bar. This must be like 2013 or something. I was like, damn, you really moved. You moved. You're in New York. You started your entrepreneur life. Like, I learned so much from you also on like going for your dreams and all of this. And then it took a while. And then we're just like locked in, and we realized we're just like, oh, there's a really great like flow here that is very mutually beneficial, but also very non-demanding, kind of like based on a lot of freedom. Hey, it's like it's the most beautiful thing, I think, when you can travel with another person and it's like no enmeshment. You be you, I be me, and then we're just like in the witnessing seat of each other's journey. And like,
Yeah.
oh, you do that. That's cool. Let me do that. Oh, you do that. Oh, you read that book. Cool. And it's just like learning from each other. And I think that is the definition of, for me, of a growth buddy, is like having like a lot of freedom in the connection, but like natural kind of like overlap, like natural magnetism.
Mm. Yeah, that's so good. It's such a good way to describe the relationship because you're right. It wasn't like we were inseparable since we were kids. We would touch base with each other and then there was that like lock in moment
Yeah.
where it was like, you know what? This is somebody I want to spend more time with.
Yeah.
And I think we both felt the same way at the same time. And then we also, like you said, we'd had our own experiences with growth where we were both ready to like rest. And then, like discovering we did you're right, we discovered different things. I'm so I mean, I really want to bring it back to the rest thing because you really helped me with that. I did not
Mm.
know that I wasn't resting. Oh, also, yeah, okay, so
I got a flashback from Senegal. You were just like, I need to go back to work. How
yeah,
long had we been in Senegal for? Like 4 days?
maybe. I
Maybe
was
four or
like it
5 days.
was
You were just like, hey, you know what? I need to get back to work. I'm like, what in the what is I was like, we are in Dakar. The sun is shining. The ocean is right there. The people are beautiful. Like, what is? I
you're
was
like,
like,
"Where are you
wow,
going?"
the
Like, wow.
smam.
No, literally, you're like, "Hey, you need to like
It's like we
relax."
need to
Like,
take a deep breath.
yeah. Oh my gosh, you just reminded me. Do you remember that when I finally relaxed, I had to sleep so much? Do you remember how much
You,
I
oh my
slept?
God. That was when we were in that beach house towards the end of the
Yeah.
trip. You surrendered at that point. I think you just to be fair to you, you enjoyed the holiday, you were having a good time. There was just a moment where that old pattern I think was calling you back around like, oh, I've been off for too long. I need to go back to business, and which makes sense because you've been like independent for so long. If you don't work, you don't earn money, right? So I get it. But you had the moment, then you kind of came down, and then
Mhm.
you totally surrendered to rest.
Yeah, no, I crashed. I was like, "Oh my gosh, I need to rest." I actually didn't even realize that that is the biggest like sleep is the biggest indicator for me.
Mm, mm,
And it's funny because we talk about like me waking up early in the morning. At that moment in time, there's no way I could have been doing that.
yeah,
There's no way. I wasn't giving to myself enough and I
yeah.
wasn't present enough, you know? Um
How were you able to take it from that moment, that period, to now it's become central to your lifestyle? We're like 2, 3 years in from that trip. Maybe that trip was like
yeah.
2 years ago, maybe. Because now you have really done a big overhaul on your relationship with rest. It's like a part of your life.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think a big part, you mentioned like growth buddy. I think a big part of it is having friends that remind you what they're doing and remind you to rest,
Mm,
and not in a sense of being like, girl, you're working too hard. It's not like that. It's more like, hey, this is what I'm going to be doing.
mm,
And I see you. And the thing is about you is that you equally work you're so, when you're focused and you're in it, you're so like dialed in, like it's all the way up. And so I admire your ability to be able to do both. Like you can balance both. And so I'm like, if somebody I know, admire, and respect can like turn it up to where I would turn it up and also be able to turn it all the way down,
yeah,
I should take note of that and say, oh, it's possible for me to do it too.
absolutely.
And then I think once you open that gate, it's like you're forever changed. Like I'm like a different person now. Like I can't do that. I can't work at that like pace or
Mm.
that. I don't want to. It's maybe I shouldn't say I can't. I don't want to. And so
There's no going back.
there's no going back. And it's like that
Yeah.
intuition that you and I have, we've developed this strong intuition. Like you have intuition about other people, but also you have that intuition about yourself.
Mm.
And it's like we're not I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm not going to tell other people to rest and not rest, so I'm resting.
Listen, I was telling Delina, I went to the spa after Christmas. So I spent Christmas here with family.
Mhm.
4 days in, after spending 4 days with my parents, I was like, okay, cool. I now need to go, and like, that was cool. That was social rest for me,
Mhm.
hanging out with people that I love. But I was like, now I need to pour into my vessel. I went to a spa. They were like, you can get a subscription because you're going to come back in 2 days. I was planning to go like for 2 days. The
Yeah.
first day, and then I was going to come back a couple of days later. They're like, for the price of this, you might as well get a subscription for the month. Like I was like, a membership, and I was like, cool, did it. So I've been at the spa like pretty much every day since like the second day of Christmas. It's been amazing, almost like 2 weeks now. I met this guy at the spa, and he was like, hey, this Eritrean guy actually, he was like, hey, you're so and so. Like I follow you on Instagram.
Oh
And I
wow.
was like, what, really? He was like, so he was like, damn, you really do walk your talk. And I was like, yep, I really do. Like, I'm not playing when it comes to wellness. I do truly
Wow.
rest. And it was so fun. And I actually, but shout out to Henok if she's listening to this. I bumped into him. He was there like for 3 days. I saw him there. We were like chatting and stuff. And he was like, wow, you really do this. I was like, yeah, I really rest. It's not just something that I say.
I love that. Oh, it's so good to like it's so good for people to see you doing exactly what you say because you do talk about it a lot. Also, I do want to mention like Zanta has been I love the solo episodes by the way. I just left you a review. I don't know if you've seen it yet. I left you a review on
I need to
Apple
go and see it.
Podcast. Yeah, I left you a review
Thank
and I was
you.
like the solo episodes are my fave. I love
Yeah.
them. Thank you for doing those. It
They're
feels like
actually like
a
little
voice note.
meditations. Yeah, they're
They
like a little voice note,
are.
like a little meditation. Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, it's the best because it's like I listen to it and I'm just like, yep, yep, I agree. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. And then you know how you can get fired up in your own voice note? It's like the same kind of thing where like you're talking and you're like, and yeah. I have a solo episode coming out tomorrow and I was like, maybe it's not my place to say that. And then in the middle of it, I go, this is my podcast. I can say it here.
I must say it.
I was like, I can say it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How
but
do you
I
feel about doing solo episodes? Because you've been doing on It Takes a Village, you've been your podcast, you've been doing such great like interviews with amazing guests. Like I love the one with like I was the last one I listened to was the one with like Tabitha and her business partner on
yeah.
what was the name of the hair care brand?
Donna's recipe.
Donna's Recipe.
I'm
Like,
actually
yeah,
using their curl mousse
I could
today.
tell because your curl
Right?
are looking cute.
Listen, man. It
That was
looks like a
such a
little
great
mohawk
story, like
happening.
an interview. So you've been doing up to almost like 50 episodes of It Takes a Village now, right? Mostly
Yeah.
interviews, like really high quality interviews on learning how to build community, entrepreneurship, business moves, like personal development. But now you're doing solo episodes. How does that feel for you?
If I mean it feels really good to be honest. Like this one that's coming out is like maybe 45 minutes
Mm.
and you know I can drop a 20-minute voice note to my friend so you know I can talk. So I was like, and but the thing is this one specifically I was excited about because uh it's like what did I learn from these 50 episodes? Like from the people and
Mm.
then also from me working on this show. And so it's like 10 things I learned. And
Wow.
so it's kind of you know what I mean? And I feel like I could have made a lot of those just individual episodes, and I might expand on some of the things that I share in this one, but I don't know how to explain it. It just feels like it's time. Kind of
Yeah.
like how I was just like, hey, Rita, can we record this? Like how we're doing this today. I was just like,
Yeah.
I just wanted to do something. You want to do, I think the older I get and the more like the wiser I get, the more I want to do things that just bring me joy and don't feel like work, you know?
Absolutely.
And so like
Absolutely.
yeah, so I see that in the way that you work on Zanta. I see that in the way that like you know, it's like when you see that thing where you're like this fits. This feels so good. This feels so incredible. I'm excited to wake up and work on this. You're like what else is life for? Like what else
It's
why else should we be
amazing.
doing anything else besides what we love?
Yeah, no, it's so amazing. Just coming up with an idea, putting that like into the world, putting it into a format. I love podcasting. You know, I've been listening to podcasts way before podcasts became popular. I'm a podcast girly. And then to be able to create within this format. And then I know now that I am meant to share my ideas and my thoughts, just like you are. You are meant to do this. You have your voice and it is powerful for a reason. And then like the other thing is we do this all day, every day. Like what
Literally.
we're doing here right now, we do on voice notes. like
That's
pretty
it.
much every day, sharing our most profound thoughts, funny thoughts, life problems, life hacks, like,
I
you
know.
know, the ups
I
and the
know.
downs and all of those things that are relatable to people as they're, you know, moving through their lives, growing. So why not share that in different formats? But I think particularly for you, the solo episodes are going to be great because um yeah, I would love to listen to your solo episodes. Like people want to listen to you interviewing guests too, but also who you are as a person.
Mhm.
Like you've been doing entrepreneurship for like 10 plus years. Like, wow. Like, and life and so many other things. Like, I
Yeah.
want to hear about you also. Yeah.
Yeah. It definitely feels really good. It feels like when you're ready and you're on time to do something, it doesn't feel heavy. It feels light. Okay, so you know how you sent me a message like over the past couple days, you've been sending me like messages and you've been like, "Hey, like why don't you consider this?" And Glow Graphics. Okay, she's Glow
Mm.
Graphics on Instagram. Her and I started talking a little bit more, and one of the things that she said, she was like, when you get your inspiration, just go do the thing that you're
Mhm.
interested in doing. And a lot of times on like a day that would be normally my rest day, I would be like, well, this is supposed to be a rest day, so let me just write it down and I'll do it another day, even if I'm feeling inspired to do it. And
Mm.
so I don't know what, like I feel like we're in like the vortex of creation right now, and you kind of mentioned that too, but what did okay, you told me, you go, "Hey, Delina, I think you should consider doing a meditation.
Yeah.
Like, I think you should consider creating a meditation. I think I
I
should
said
do
you
it, and
have
I
a
think
great voice.
yeah,
You have a
no,
great and
we have
important
great
voice.
we have
Yeah.
really great voices." And so you were like, "I think I'm gonna do it. You should do it." Da, 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 da. And then I was like, "Okay, yeah." And immediately, it's like I felt my whole body. Like I know how it feels like when I get excited about something. It's like my whole body gets hot. Like the temperature just goes up
Yeah.
a little bit. And I'm like, "Ooh!" Like I'm excited. And so so I was like, I have to do this right now in this moment. So I
Yeah.
came in here with the mic, the headphones, recorded it, edited it, put the music on top of it,
Boom.
posted it on Insight. I'm like waiting to see if they're gonna approve. They're gonna approve it. But I also posted it on YouTube. I was like, yeah, I was like, I'm gonna do this meditation, and I
Amazing.
mean, it felt so good to work at that speed, Ruta.
Yeah. It was
Like,
so interesting because I sent you that message because it wasn't a really inspired thought. I was like, we have powerful voices. We love meditation. I was like, I'm thinking about doing this. And I was like, I think you should do this too. Cause I'm so invested in your success. Like you're my sister. I'm just like,
yeah,
and also I was like, this is you. You already do this. And this is tied to your purpose. And this was in the evening, Swedish time. I woke up in the morning and you were just like, yeah, I love this idea. I think I'm going to do it. To like, da, 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 da. Here's the script. I recorded it. I submitted it. And it was just like, but in my sleep, I woke up to like this and you were just like, hey, here are some of the tools. And I was like, this is amazing. Oh, by the way, I just finished my script for my
did
meditation too. I'm
you?
going to record it tomorrow. Yeah. But that's the thing about inspired action, because I think like for those of us who have been on social media for a while, promoting our businesses, sharing our thought leadership, who has not gotten to the point where it starts to just feel like a chore, right? I want to find my way back to like creativity. That is my birthright. Just
Yes.
create in a way that feels good, and not just to create as part of this big like capitalistic machine, but to get back to the fun and the joy and the levity of creativity. Yeah, I'm with that. But yeah,
It
we are in the vortex right now.
We're in the vortex. And you know what else too? The reason why, like to me, like what signifies a growth buddy is that you were like, you shared it with me. I did it technically before you did it. I shared with you everything in the way. I was like, this is where I got the music. And I shared all the things. And you were like, this is amazing. I'm so proud of you. Like, you were like,
Yeah.
it was immediate. And it wasn't like, oh man, she like took the thing and she did the thing. And I feel like when you know you're with somebody who you're supposed to grow with, the idea doesn't have like, it's not owned. The idea
Yeah.
is shared, and it's just like we're creating something, we're doing something different, and I'm so excited about you and I doing these meditations. I cannot wait to hear the meditation that you
I'm
do.
gonna do a whole series. Like
I'm so
let's
I'm
do
so
a whole
excited. Same.
series.
Same. I was like
Yeah.
because it was like something it already been like percolating around, and I've been like, this sounds really good. This is a good idea. This is a good idea.
You've been
And
doing it,
then
girl.
right?
You were the one who told me about TM when you were at Transcendental Meditation when you were in New York. Like you're such like an expander for me in so many different ways, you know? It's like you've been doing this for such a long time and also you care about it. You care about the message of mindfulness, inner peace, meditation, like really like being a conduit for that in the world, like doing your part. So I was like, hey, and it's fun to find new platforms, new way of engaging with people, new communities, and like just to, yeah, absolutely. But I wanted to say on the growth buddies,
Mm-hmm.
because yesterday we were talking about like who's growing with you in 2025 and who
Mm-hmm.
are your friends in 2025, right?
Who are your
Maybe that's going to
friends?
be like a follow up in to this episode or to this conversation. But I think like when you have deep safety, a sense of belonging in a friendship, you wish the person so well, you know, exactly what you want for yourself, then there is no sense of competition. When you were
Mm-hmm.
just like, yeah, like it was your idea, but I was like, I wasn't my idea. I just said you should do this. Like it was just a thought, and you putting it out into the world actually inspires me to put it out into the world. And I think that's what signifies like a growth buddy when there's just this flow, none of this like sense of like competition that patriarchy and capitalism sort of like, you know, gives us a lot of messaging around, especially women who are just like, hey, yes, go for it, run with it, you know, share with me how you did it. Like, I am so deeply invested in your success, and there is like no competition. There's just so much space. And I think that's what signifies friendship, sisterhood, like deep care. And that's why I say, when I say, who are my friends in 2025? Very few, actually. And I'm very happy with that. Like real friends, I have a lot of great acquaintances and people who are part of my community in different ways. But when I say real friends, like how many friendships do you actually have the time and the energy and the attention to give um like your honest presence to, and that's where it comes down to me, like they're not so many because they are so special. And yeah, does that make sense?
No, it totally makes sense. It totally makes sense. I felt that in such a deep way. It really meant a lot to me because I thought about the fact that sometimes when you're given an idea, it's like, oh, well, you have to like think, oh, okay, if I do it before her, maybe she's going to feel some kind of way about it. Like there's all this, and it's like
Mm,
your growth buddy shortens the time between idea to action,
yeah,
like idea to like boom, it's here, it's alive, it's a thing, and it's very like, and then it's also like, let's do it. We can do it separately, we could do it together, we could do it, who cares how we do it, let's just do it, I like this, you do this. It's like, it's almost like
yeah,
going on a vacation, or something, and you're like, oh, it's like, I liked, I don't know, Senegal, and then you're like, me too, and it's like, okay, we could go together again or we could go separately, but either way it's there for us to enjoy and to experience.
exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
What
um
signifies a growth buddy to you?
mm, I would say, like in the very beginning when you first meet somebody, I think you have to pay attention to their language.
Mm,
What type of conversations are they having, and how are they speaking about themselves and about their experiences that they've previously had? Because
mm,
you can find a lot based on someone and how they speak about stuff. Like if I meet somebody, because I'm dating, if I meet somebody and like one of the first things they say is they're like, oh yeah, like I have this partner and I don't really like them anymore or whatever. Okay, cool. That's fine. You don't have to like everybody. But are we drilling into it? Are we like, like, do we keep going and going and going? Or are we saying, but you know what? I learned this,
yeah,
right? Like, well, I'm not friends with them anymore, or I don't have a relationship with them anymore, or it's done. But like, now I see what happened in this specific relationship and
yeah,
how it like helped me grow, because
mm,
every relationship that we have, good, bad, whatever, is all there for our purpose. I
yeah,
really truly believe that.
100%.
And so if we can, showing respect to the relationship and to the experience is also showing respect to ourselves.
Yep.
And so we have to be very, very conscious about who we allow, like who we spend time with,
Yeah.
because even you can spend a short period of time with somebody who doesn't have a growth mindset, and it can completely flip you. Maybe not for forever, but just for that short period of time, you go from like you like a pancake, you know what I mean? And now you're on the other side. And
You know how that feels.
you
You
know
know
what
how
I
that feels.
mean?
It's like the energy is not high frequency. It's not like, yeah. It,
Yeah.
for me, what you're saying makes me think about whether someone is in the past or if they're in the present, right? Like what you were saying. It's like,
Mm.
I think that also signifies a growth buddy. I think a lot of us visit the past from time to time because we're human beings and we have memories and traumas and all these stuff. But are you choosing to like truly make a decision to live from the present moment and, thinking ahead about where you want to be? Or are you defaulting to the past, to stories of the past? And I think for me, a growth buddy mostly lives in the present and has a strong optimism about the future. And when they are visiting the past, because they're human, they're aware of it, right? And they know how to guide
Ooh.
themselves into the present. Because I have spent a lot of time in the past with people, friends, and yeah, different kinds of people who would just very much so be in the past. And that affects you, because that is not an expansive energy. It's not imbued with optimism. And I understand why people do it, but it's really important that we make peace with our past so that we can be like here, be here now. And so that for me signifies a growth buddy, like someone who is like willing to be here in the present moment and be aware of when they're not.
That's so good. Aware of when they're visiting the past. I'm gonna have to
Yeah.
remember that. I like that. It's like they don't allow the past to like suck them in. You
Yeah.
know, like
Like,
it's
what's
like I'm talking
happening.
about it. Yeah, I know what
Yeah.
happened. I know what happened. But
Yeah. I miss
we're
him,
here
but he's
now.
not the one.
Yeah.
I love him, but he's not the one. Don't be
I
stupid.
love it
Don't
when
be
it's done.
stupid now.
No, like literally self-awareness and awareness of where you are mentally. Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah.
looking for. I'm looking for a growth mind. And my growth buddy, I'm looking for a growth mindset. And I'm
Yeah.
looking for self-awareness. And I'm
Mm.
looking for um but to be fair though, I feel like I have such a great group of friends. I feel so fulfilled in my friendship, like in my friendships. You're one of my closest friends, and I feel like we can talk about anything, and
Yeah.
it genuinely is such a pleasure to know you and to feel like seen. And if I
Same.
need to hash something out and to think about it and to really dive into it, we go there. But we always end on the okay, like where are we going from here? You know?
Absolutely.
Where how are we because we don't typically have the same conversation twice. You know what I
No.
mean? Like we'll have a conversation, and maybe some advancements might have been made in a relationship or whatever, and then we might come back to it and say this is what I'm struggling with. And then it's like we remind each other of our strength and our power, and then we move on. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Absolutely.
and grace, I'm looking for
Grace
grace.
is so important.
Yeah.
I feel very fulfilled in my like deep friendship with you and the friendships that I have. And I have some great friendships. The great thing is that we have a shared understanding. So there's no, we're not performative. We have nothing to prove to each other. There's no like, oh, we have to call each other this amount of times or these are the rules. There's none of that. Like, I'm just like, hey, whenever you come into my space, you're very welcome to. When you're not, you're busy. I'm sending you love. Like, there's just like such a deep love and there's no expectations, no demands. There's a lot of freedom in my friendships. And that's why I say I'm very satisfied when it comes to friendships. And that's why I have very high standards when it comes to letting somebody new into my life in terms of friendships, because my friends are fantastic and we've worked so hard to get here. Now, I have acquaintances and I meet people in many different ways through my work, and those interactions are very meaningful as well. But one thing I've realized as well with time is that I actually want to nurture the relationships that I have rather than just like adding on new ones and new ones and new ones. I want to go deeper in all of the relationships that I actually have in my life. And the reason why I feel that way is because I'm really satisfied. Like, I have friends all over the world. I have people I talk to more with, and some people I see them like twice a year or we talk once a year, but that friendship is super valid still, So, um, I would say another thing about a growth buddy is that freedom and the connection. Is that freedom, but a deep sense of belonging where I know, like, that's my girl. That is my
Hmm.
friend. That guy, that's my homie. Like, no matter what, when we see each other, it's all love. It's such a beautiful thing to have freedom and in the relationship
Yeah, I agree with that.
and people you
Okay.
can truly depend on. Yeah.
Okay, last question.
Tell
Do you have a
me.
word of the do you do a word of the year? Do you choose a word to inspire a year?
I do sometimes. I have to say personally, I haven't gotten there yet. I'm still resting.
Mm.
Um, I haven't. I have a few workbooks that I'm due to do to complete for like these like end of year reflections, and I have them here actually in front of me. I haven't yet started to fill them out because I'm still resting. Like I'm still in this like very beautiful, dreamy space. First week of the new year. Maybe
Oh
it's
my
the
gosh, I
second
love
week this
that.
week. So I feel like January is like for resting, and I only set like those goals or like the words like will come to me when I'm ready, and I feel like I'm still resting.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's good. I think it's important to I love that you take your time to start the year. I mean, also you have like it's also like you have a bit more of like the way that the schedule and the way that culturally Swedish people view
Yeah.
coming into the year is there for you. For me,
Yeah, I was
I
gonna ask you, what's your
feel
word?
yeah, thank you. So I would say I don't feel rushed this year, though. I will say that. I
Mm,
do feel like I'm kind of getting into it slowly. I don't feel the really intense, like,
mm,
type of moment right now. I feel relaxed, but at the same time, I feel inspired. So I'm following
mm.
that. And so I'm feeling like I'm doing a little bit more than I think I was even doing before I left. But it doesn't feel like a lot. It still feels balanced, which is really
Yeah.
good. Um, my main word for the year is peace, like peace of mind.
Ooh,
I was just like, peace.
I love that. Look
Isn't
at
that
you.
good?
You just like the way that you just kind of like branched out when you said it. You're just like peace, like fully embodied. I love that.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's like that's the most important thing. And I think when you really get on that vibration with what you're supposed to be doing and you're really resonating in that vibration, it's not like it doesn't feel like you're going against the grain. It just feels like you're like following your joy. I'm just like
Yeah.
following my joy. Everything is about peace. There's no pushing this year. There's no like, ooh, I
Yes.
really, it's like, oh, you don't want to do it? No problem. All good. Like,
No
let's
problem.
just we'll find it. We'll find another time. No worries. Like that's how I feel now. I'm not like,
Yeah.
oh, we have to. Why? What's the point? No, not
Mm.
anymore. It's just whatever's supposed to be will be.
You've worked for this as well, Delina. Like, because I've seen the
Mm,
process, like behind the scenes of like quitting corporate, going into entrepreneurship, moving into one of the toughest cities in the world, New York, like making it expensive, just high energy, all of this to getting to this place. And you've
hmm
like built such a successful career as an entrepreneur to now get to this place. Like, you deserve this like chapter where you're just like, hey, it's about peace now.
It's
It's not
about
about pushing.
peace.
It's about magnetizing, being, presence.
Yeah, I feel really good about it. Okay, we should
Yeah.
do this again. This was fun.
I would love to.
Yeah,
What are
is
we going
there?
to call it? Our voice note conversation?
I love it. Voice note conversations is perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
This was
so
fun.
great. This was so fun.
My growth buddy.
My
Oh, I
growth
just want to
buddy.
I just want to
Yeah.
share for anyone that might be listening to this. I want to say like really think about who you are growing with in 2025. It can make such a huge difference, like making sure that the people that you're sharing your dreams with, that you're growing alongside, that you are vibrating higher daily together, that you're on the same frequency, that you are mirroring each other's levels of consciousness and openness and optimism. That is so important, right? Because there's such a big transference in friendships and relationships. So it's important that we make sure that it's a really positive one and one that is like truly conducive to where we want to go. I mean, to me, just having you in my life and like the progressive conversations and exchanges that we have, like it elevates me, like literally. So yeah, really think about who you're growing with in 2025 and be intentional about it.
Yes. Be intentional about it. We all got
Yes,
to
ma'am.
grow. This is the year. This is the year of growing through peace.
Amen. Amen, sis. Thank you
You're
for
welcome.
this
Thank
conversation.
you.
All right.